Hi friends, welcome back to Life with Sonja. If you're new here, I'm Sonja and I run a home daycare in Canada. On this channel, I share behind the scenes of running a successful and cozy home daycare, from routines to activities to tips for providers. Today, I'm walking you through exactly how I conduct an interview for new families, what I prepare, what I share, and how I guide parents through the process. Whether you're just starting your daycare or looking to refine your parent meetings, I hope this gives you some helpful ideas. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more daycare tips, routines, and room tours. Before a parent even steps in the door, I spend a little time prepping my home and materials. I tidy the egg area, wipe down surfaces, and make sure everything feels warm, clean, and welcoming. And this includes my home, especially the areas where the children spend time in, besides the playroom. I print out my handbook, contract, and any forms that they'll need if they choose to enroll. I do send out my forms electronically, but I like to go over them before I send them out. And I typically send them out once they had signed a deposit and are ready to commit coming to my daycare. I like to light a candle or diffuser just to with some essential oils, just something cozy but subtle. There's nothing worse than a bad smelling house. I also double check the space I'll use for the actual meeting. I usually conduct the meeting in the playroom because I do require children to attend the meetings. So it's a little bit easier if they have some area to play with. Let me know if you guys would like to see how I would set up my space for, let's say, an open house. Open houses aren't typical to in Canada. Well, in Ontario, anyways, where I provide care, they're not necessarily common. Home daycares don't typically have open houses, but I know in US a lot of home daycares do run open houses, and I was always intrigued and I love watching those type of videos. So let me know if you would like to see how I would set up my home for an open house. What I would set up, if I can see it being much different than actually conducting an interview and sharing your home, but let me know if that's something you guys would like to see as well. So like I said, I usually like to do it in the playroom, so that way kids can have something, an area to play with. But if you do it in a kitchen or anywhere that's maybe a little bit more comfortable, make sure those spaces are all tidied and ready for an interview. So when the family arrives, I always like to greet them warmly and take few minutes to break the ice. Now, one thing that I do for my interviews is when a family shows up, I like to not have my dog at home at that moment. I have two large dogs. If you've been following along, you know they each weigh 150 pounds. They are gentle giants, but they are a lot for people that aren't used to dogs. So having them come in and get comfortable before I bring the dogs in to introduce, because I do think it's very important that your families that you are interviewing, that you introduce them to your dogs, because this is children in my care do spend time with dogs are everywhere we are. So I think it's important that the parents meet the dogs, they see that the dogs are harmless, and that way also if they are not comfortable, um, which I prefer they tell me before they come for an interview that they're not comfortable with dogs, but it does occasionally happen that they choose not to bring the child because they are not comfortable with the dogs. So I think it's an important part, but I like to, like I said, when they arrive, for dogs not to be there. So I usually get my kids to take them out around the block, and that way when the dogs come in, they can come and meet them. The whole ringing the doorbell, knocking on the door just gets dogs so excited. And like I said, it's a little much for people that aren't used to dogs. So I'd like to make them feel comfortable when they come in. So part of it is, like I said, greeting them warmly without the dogs, but I also like to ask questions like, oh, was it hard to find my place, or compliment the child, or ask if they had chance to tour many other daycares in the area. And then it's important to set a relaxed tone and to help everybody feel more safe and more comfortable and more at ease. So next, I like to start with the spaces that I'll be sharing. So I run my home daycare in the basement, but there are a couple areas upstairs that I use as well. So I do take them to those areas first. I show them where they will be entering, because it's different than the entrance that they came through. So they when they come for an interview, they use the main entrance, but once they are enrolled in daycare, I have a separate entrance on the side of the house that leads them into the mudroom, where it's set up for their cubby, like little hooks. There's a parent board. It's a great space, and I also have a gate there, so that way they're greeted comfortably instead of having dogs come into the space and want all the attention. So that way they can come in comfortably. Um, every child has a designated hook. There's any notes that need to be taken at pickup or anything that needs to be sent, that all is in there. So I just kind of go over everything. Our fire escape plan is posted there. The fire extinguisher is there. We have menus, activities posted. Everything is there. Any forms that they need, any extra forms, if they're bringing in medicine, there's forms in there that they need to fill out. So everything is in there for them. And then I move on to my eating area, which is kind of in between my dining room and my kitchen. I have an area set up with the table and chairs that the children eat. We also do craft time in this space. We start our morning in that space, and we more often than not end our day in that space as well. So I like to share that with them, let them know what type of activities can be expected in the morning, midday, and in the afternoon in this space. I do need to prep lunches, so I like to set them up with some sort of a craft or an activity that they can do while I prep lunch, and I can easily be right there for them and prep lunch at the same time. Then I also share, which I forgot, a bathroom. If the children are toilet training, I share that as well. And then we go downstairs and I share the playroom space with them. I talk about where they're going to be sleeping and what how much time they're spending indoors. And then at the end of the interview, I do take them outside and show them my outdoor space as well. And then I also sometimes set up my front yard, which I won't set up for the interview just because it's not necessary. I like to show them pictures of how the front yard is set up when we do play out front. I keep it honest and real, and I want them to see what an actual day looks like, not the Pinterest perfect, but safe, loving, and engaging. So after the tour is complete, we sit down or stand up or whatever, and I go through my parent handbook, as well as all the enrollment packages that I have. If you are looking to spruce up your parent handbook, or if you are starting up and maybe looking for a new one, I do have an editable version that I sell on Teachers Pay Teachers and Etsy, so make sure you check those out. They will be linked down below. So I start off by going, like I said, going through the parent handbook, and the first thing that I share is a little bit about me, my education, my qualifications, any first aid training, CPR, any of those things that I have, any certificates that I can share that makes me look good. Plain and simple. You want to talk yourself up a little bit. And then we move on to the philosophy of the daycare. I think everybody should have a little bit of a philosophy set up on how they run their daycare center, their home daycare center, because everybody's different. Everybody has different ways of doing things. So letting people know how you approach your daily daycare life is important, I think. So I have a little blurb there of my philosophy that I kind of just skim through, but I do encourage them to read it. themselves. And then we go into the policies like illness, late pickups, payments, vacations, screen time, and all those fun things. I also cover baby gates, and like I said, any safety protocols that I have, cleaning routines, fire drills, things like that. And then I share the contract because I am licensed. I do contract, they contract with my licensing agency as well as with me. So I share both of those contracts with them and ask if they like to take it home or if they would like me to send it a DocuSign document to them. Most of them prefer that over taking a package home, and so do I, to be quite honest with you. And then I also go over and explain the next step. I have a deposit form that they fill out if they choose to enroll. Like I've currently just finished enrolling. I had two spots open up in 2026 of September. So I just finished enrolling those two children. So I do require a deposit form to be filled up as well as a 2 week deposit that is given back to the parents at the end of their care. I do enroll most of my children privately at this time. Um, it's a little bit of a complicated process in Ontario. Our agency allows you to enroll children privately, but they are also can take the benefit of it's CWalk or Swell C or whatever everybody calls it. It is a benefit that Ontario provides, that Canada provides, not Ontario. But so the parents are still able to take that. It's just more paperwork for me, but that's okay. So I do go over, like I said, all those enrollment packages and all that's required from them. I also have a first aid checklist there for them. Go over all that and let them know what they need to bring on a first day. I also like to mention ways that I share daily doings with them through, obviously I have my weekly plan put out for them and also my monthly plan put out for them. But I also like to share fun things that we do throughout days on our private Facebook page. So I let them all know that as well. And always allow time for questions. Parents usually want to know about food, sleep, and how I handle behavior or separation anxiety. So when it comes to food, this is another thing that I go over with them. I have a 6 week rotational menu that I share with them. I do spruce up my menu every time I do enroll new children or new child. Right now in September, I have 5 new kids starting. One is staying, and the rest are moving on to school. So I have 5 new children starting. So I will definitely in September, I'm going to be sprucing up that menu, catering more towards the needs and likes of these children that are starting. So that way, everybody can find things they like in the menu, on the menu in the menu on the menu. And I don't know if I mentioned that I also go over our daily schedule during this time and let the parents know the importance of drop off and the importance of pickup on time. I don't typically wait for parents to drop off. If we are going outside, we will be outside from this and this time, weather permitting. If we decide to go to the park, I just let the parents know where to drop them off. I cannot stay, and I have parents dropping off at various different times, and they need to be aware of our schedule. And like I said, I will let them know, message them where to meet us if they are not coming while we're home. A few tips for if you're new to hosting interviews: be confident about your space. Don't second guess yourself. You're offering a loving environment, and that's what matters the most. Don't be afraid to set clear boundaries up front. It saves everyone stress later. Let them know I have a late pickup fee. Let them know. I always like to let them know that I do enforce it, because as much as I don't like saying it, parents will take advantage. If they can, they will take advantage in every turn that they make. um, if you don't feel that it's the right fit, it's okay to say no. A strong relationship starts with the mutual trust and respect. And if you are not feeling that during an interview, if there's too many demands that will not sit right with you, don't there are going to be other families to interview. Do not take a family that you don't think it's a right fit for you, or their child is not right fit for the children that you currently have. Don't be afraid to say no. So I think this wraps up this video. I hope it gave you lots of tips. If you want to see tours of my home daycare, I have shared plenty. I also shared a daily schedule, how I set it up. You can check that video out. I will have them all linked for you. So make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed, because I have lots of different videos planned for you, especially now in August, to prep you for the start of the new year, for a new school year. So make sure your notification bell is on so you don't miss any of those videos. And like I said, thank you so much for joining me today. And like I said, I hope this behind the scenes of home daycare interview was helpful. And don't forget to check out my Teachers Pay Teacher store as well, or Etsy store. I have my menu plan out there, a sample of 1 week, and also an editable version of it that you can tailor towards your own. I have curriculum plans for different themes. I have calendar numbers, lots of different fun things there for you that will save you lots of time in prepping your weeks. So check that out. I will have everything down below. So oh, and I almost forgot, there will be a free checklist, interview checklist in my blog, which I will link down below, that you can print out for your own use if you want to have a checklist, so that way you don't forget anything while you are doing an interview. It is something that I use, so it will be linked down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.